psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
You've done a lot of stuff in your career. If someone has actually never seen anything you've done, what is the first thing you'd like them watching and why?
That's a good question. I'd like, I think Godless would be one of my top few, and Downton. I mean, it's what I'm primarily known for. But Godless sort of holds a really special place in my heart. I loved that show.
Yeah, that is a fantastic show.
Yeah, it was fantastic to work on.
If you could go back in time and do one more day on any production, whether it be film, TV, or on the stage, is there a project that you just loved that you wish you could do one more day on?
Godless. I'm really showing. I mean, the thing with Downton is that we've still, I did it just recently. We just did the last movie. So I feel like I've still been working on something that I love for the last 10 years, which has been amazing to step back in. And that is like a family. And I love working on Downton so much. But Godless was such a special experience, working with Scott Frank. He's one of my top favorite people to work with, and working on that script in that location, riding horses. It was just, and that character, I just loved her so much. So absolutely would be Godless.
Yeah, he's what we call a talented screenwriter.
Absolutely, yeah, and a really talented director too. I mean, he can do it all. Yeah,
I absolutely concur. So, true or false? You agreed to be in Flight Risk because you were going to be able to beat up Mark Wahlberg.
That's not the only reason.
Sure.
To be, to work with someone like Mark was a real, was absolutely such an appeal for me. He's such a brilliant actor, and to work with him in such a genre like this, which, for me isn't a regular thing, was a great opportunity. So yeah, true.
Yeah. The other thing though is, listen, Mark doesn't often get beat up in movies. Yeah. And so you're one of the few people that was able to, put him, to take care of him.
Absolutely. It's a privilege.
So I'm friendly with Topher, and he told me, and I had no idea, that you guys filmed this in Vegas, which I was like, wait, what? You know what I mean? And obviously you use the volume technology. So when you think back on the shoot of this one, like, what's the first thing you remember?
The first thing I remember is the heat of being in Vegas, because we were shooting it in the summer. And so I literally went from my hotel to set every day to avoid the 100 degrees heat. And also that set, it was extraordinary because, you can walk onto set every day and get up in that plane, and the scenery that you see in the film, we got to see too, because it was actually, we could see the video as a way of, we weren't looking at the green screen the whole time, which for an actor can be, it's not as great as kind of seeing the real thing. So that was very different from anything I've done before, working in a space for such a, contained amount of time. But yeah, I didn't really get to see much of Vegas.
Yeah, I asked Topher for a question, and he said I should ask, and this is not a good question because he admitted it. Said I should ask who lost the most money at the casino tables, and he's like, probably nobody, because it was
no one. There was kind of no time for any social. I mean, it was such a short gig, really. I mean, it was 3-4 weeks, and most evenings we were just ready to hit the hay, and there wasn't, and also just weather-wise, it's just it was just too hot. It was too hot to kind of do anything.
So one of the things, I've seen the volume technology up close, and it's pretty crazy. So what was it actually like for you working with that technology for the first time? And do you sort of feel like this is a tipping point, for what you can do with filmmaking with this new technology?
Yeah, I mean, for us as actors, it's all to be able to see what you would actually be seeing if you were up in that plane, like we are in this film. So it informs so much of your performance by what you can see around you, and you're, suspending your disbelief and really feeling like you're there. And that was so helpful, to be able to be up in that plane and see this stunning scenery. And in those really intense moments where we're tipping and having to kind of climb over the mountains, we could see it. So it was
Yeah.
like being on a roller coaster.
It's crazy. I am a fan of Mel Gibson when he's directing and also acting. But what surprised you actually working with him as a director? Does he direct a certain way on set that is unique? Like, what was that experience?
He has he's so prepared. And for something like this, I imagine even more so when you've got such a short amount of time to shoot something in. But he's got a very relaxed attitude on set. And his attention to detail was just, that didn't surprise me at all, but was really incredible to watch. Just as he was kind of, directing us, and also visually, what he kind of was wanting to sort of see from the action was really admirable. But there was a real, in spite of the intensity of this film, there was a real relaxed kind of very sort of calm vibe, which maybe surprised me. Yeah.
I was going to say he's done this a lot. I'm sure that, experience free, it's going to work out.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there were moments that he just would say, yeah, it will just, it will come out, it will play out. We don't need to over prepare and like, as you say, there's such a wealth of experience there. That it is so great to work with someone who is so seasoned like that.
When you saw the shooting schedule, I know it was a short shoot. Was there one scene or sequence that you had circled in terms of, I can't wait to film this, or how the F are we going to film this?
There were so many moments where I just thought, how on earth are we going to do this? But it wasn't my job to worry about that,
Sure.
And we had such a talented crew, and visual effects team that made the film what it is. It's incredible. So all I had to do was really focus on my role and, how Madolyn's character kind of plays out within the film. So, there were some moments that I looked forward to and also kind of built up to. There's a moment where she talks about her past, which is quite a sort of pivotal moment in the film for the character. So that was on my mind, certainly. But I was looking forward to playing those moments, because so much of it is action. And actually in those much stiller moments where a character is reflecting or telling their story, that was something I really looked forward to.
I'm almost out of time with you. I, of course, am a fan of Downton. I definitely have to ask, what can you tease about the final movie? I can't believe it's the final movie, and getting to work with Paul Giamatti.
It's a beautiful film. And for us, it was such a treat to be able to come back together again. It's a real tribute to Maggie Smith, the film, and working with Paul again was wonderful. He's so much fun, and because he was already part of the family, it was lovely to have him back on set. So I'm really excited to see the final film.
Yeah, do you know what? Because pardon me for not knowing. Who decided it would be the final film? Is it Julian? Was it the studio? Like, where did that come from? Do you know?
I think there was always an intention to do 3 films. I think the kind of trilogy of films was an intention. So, but no, I'm not entirely sure. But I guess that was what was thought of initially. But it's amazing that we got to do, that many films. We would have been very happy to do one, but the demand was to do more, and it's been an incredible experience.
Last question about Downton. I definitely have to ask, what was it like the last day of set for you? Because it could be the last time you play this character. You never know. There could be a Christmas special down the road, but what was it like on set for you?
It was I mean, for us, we've had so many last times. You know, we had the last scene of the last season, the last scenes of the last films, which we weren't entirely sure there was going to be another one. So, but this time around, I think we really relished every minute. You know, it being the last, it felt really, really special. So, and yeah, it was, you know, like anything, it's when something comes to an end, it's emotional. But just such a happy place to, you know, it's always been a very happy place to be, and a wonderful place, a wonderful thing to be part of for the last 15 years. Can you believe?
It's amazing. I got to go. I'm just going to say thank you for your time. Good luck with the speed dating, and everyone should watch Godless.
Yes.
And obviously Flight Risk.
Thank you.